Star Wars The Force Awakens, also known as Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens, is a 2015 American epic space opera film produced, co-written and directed by J.J. Abrams. It acts as the first installment in the Star Wars sequel trilogy following the events of Return of the Jedi in 1983, and it is the seventh Star Wars film released of the 9-part saga, the Skywalker Saga. It was produced by Lucasfilms once again, and Abrams Productions company, Bad Robot Productions, and was distributed for the first time by Walt Disney Motion Pictures instead of 20th Century Fox. The film's assembled cast includes Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher returning to reprise their roles as Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and Princess Leia Organa, or General Leia Organa respectively, as well as a few little other people like Anthony Daniels, Peter Mayhew, and Kenny Baker, also reprising their roles as well. And also features a new cast of characters which include Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Lupita Nyong'o, Andy Serkis, Domhnall Gleeson, and Max von Sydow. And set 30 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens follows Rey, Finn, Poe Dameron, and Han Solo's search for Luke Skywalker and their fight in the Resistance, led by General Leia Organa, and veterans of the Rebel Alliance against Kylo Ren and the First Order, a successor to the Galactic Empire. Now, the film was announced after the Walt Disney Company's acquisition of Lucasfilms in October 2012, and was the first Star Wars film to not extensively involve franchise creator George Lucas, who only served as a creative consultant in the early stages of the production. The film was produced by J.J. Abrams, his longtime collaborator Brian Burke, and Lucasfilm's president Kathleen Kennedy. J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan, who you all know who co-wrote The Emperor Strikes Back, returned to co-wrote this film as well. And John Williams also returns as composer from the previous 6 films. With principal photography also taking place in Ireland and at the Pinewood Studios in England, it wrapped up in November 2014. And The Force Awakens was, just like The Phantom Menace, widely anticipated, and Disney backed the film with extensive, and I mean heavily extensive, marketing campaign. Like, this film, people were looking forward to this movie. This was not only the first Star Wars film in 10 years, but the first film to be set after the events of the OG trilogy. And it premiered in LA on December 14, 2015, before it was widely released in the US on December 18th. And the film received praise for its screenplay, its direction, acting performances, particularly those of Harrison Ford, Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, and John Boyega, musical score, visual effects, and action sequences, although some critics found it derivative from the original trilogy. The film broke various box office records and became, unadjusted for inflation, the highest grossing installment in the franchise, the highest grossing film in North America, the highest grossing film of 2015, and the 4th highest grossing film of all time, with a worldwide gross of over $2 billion worldwide, my gosh, and a net profit of over $780 million. Among films box office adjusted for inflation, it is top grossing sequel of all time in North America. It received 5 nominations at the Academy Awards 88th ceremony and 4 nominations at the 69th British Academy Film Awards, where it won the award for Best Special Visual Effects. And yeah. So what do I think about this film? Well, before that, let's talk about my kind of history with Star Wars. Now, I remember when I first got these Star Wars movies for Christmas, back in was it 2014? The Christmas of 2014, I got the OG trilogy and the prequel trilogy for the first time on Christmas of that year. I was about 17 and I never watched Star Wars, and I watched them twice again. And before this film came out, I rewatched these films in episode order, and then I got into this film, and yeah, this film, I was looking forward to this film as well. I wasn't as hyped as I should have been, but I was still looking forward to it. And I watched it in the cinema early in the morning in IMAX 3D with one of the best audiences ever, because everyone was just so loving this film. Everyone was laughing, crying when they needed to. and it was just like mesmerized by it. And yeah, let's talk about the good of this film. And the one thing to take from this film is that this feels like a Star Wars film, you know. It looks like a Star Wars movie, it feels like a Star Wars film, and acts like one. Like, for me, it really comes down to the screenplay. Like, the writing and the dialogue feels more like a Star Wars film, at the same time making it modern to sound and feel more modern to like modern audiences. And I just love some of like the dialogue and character interactions with some characters. We're loving the return of like Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher, and even Mark Hamill as their counterparts. Although Mark Hamill doesn't appear until the end, spoiler alert. And yeah, Harrison Ford, I really did like his performance in this film, because he feels more like, you know, a guiding light, you know, helping Rey and all that lot. And I really do like some of the new characters, the new cast. Like, I really like Daisy Ridley as Rey, you know, she's very feisty, and, you know, she's not your typical damsel in distress. She's not, you know, she's someone who just wants to stay on Jakku, who wants to find her parents, and I like her very, like, feistiness, you know. She's whisked off into this whole galactic war against the First Order. You know, she's just an ordinary gal, you know. And I really like the change, like, you know, these stormtroopers now, they are now like, they've been taken from like their families, they've been raised to be killers and all that lot, to fight the Republic. And this one stormtrooper, who's John Boyega's character Finn, he doesn't want any part of this anymore, and he wants to fight the First Order because he's not happy with what's happening, you know. To kill like an innocent village, he was just like, this is not right, you know. And I really did like that, you know. Like, but for me, like, you're gonna be surprised, but the best character in the film for me, like the best performance, I really liked Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, you know. He resembles Anakin Skywalker in so many ways, you know, but I feel like he's very torn, you know. You can, like, every time you see his eyes, he looks like he's crying, you know. Like, he's so torn, you know. It's like he loves and relishes the dark side of the Force, you know. He wants it, he craves it, he loves that power, but at the same time, he can't stop thinking about the past, the people of his past, his family, you know, and, you know, knowing what he has to do. And this guy is just, he's really great, you know. I really did like that character, you know. I'm surprised they took off his helmet. Like, normally we wouldn't see the identity of these master villains until like towards the end, you know. And yeah, I really did like that, you know. It was great to see the return of, like, you know, Peter Mayfield's Chewbacca, you know. For a while I haven't seen him, and like, just really great. I must admit that Domhnall Gleeson as General Hux was also a surprisingly entertaining dude. Like, I really did like that character. He was really cool, and I was really digging his performance, and I really liked it. I really did, you know. I absolutely was digging it. Also, now, I will admit, Revenge of the Sith, when it came to the space battles, really improved. But my gosh, when you don't think that these films don't get any better, my gosh, do they get better. Like, some of like the space fights, some of like the spaceship fights look so awesome. Like, the fights against the First Order, like, some of like those shots, it feels like you're actually there, you know. It feels so grounded, you know, and really gritty. And the CGI, I have to admit, has improved, you know. It doesn't look corny, and they don't use it all the time, you know. They use a lot of puppetry in this film, and like real props and real sets, and they use CGI when they need to use it in a way. And I feel like, yeah, this is how you're meant to incorporate CGI. George Lucas taking notes. And damn, just like the whole pacing of this film was very fast-paced, action-packed, and just a really fun time at the movies for me. A really fun time, you know. And I have to admit, here comes my spoiler alert, because yeah, this is a more of a retrospective review. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was very stunned to find out that Kylo Ren was the son of Han and Leia. That really floored me, because I didn't think they would do something like that again, it surprised me and it made it more interesting because I didn't think they would do something like this. I thought they would just have like another villain, or like people might think that, oh, Kylo Ren is the father of Rey and but they made it interesting to make it more like Han, to be Han's son, and it gave Han something more, more of an urgency and more, it gave him more of a reason to do things, but you can tell that some time has passed since, Ben Solo turned to the dark side, and it's like, yeah, you can really see, like, after this happened, Leia and Han split up and they just went back to do their own thing. They were heartbroken, they must have been. Luke ran away, he was ashamed of what happened, and yeah, you can just see like how this really, affected them. Just when Han and Leia reunited for the first time in a while, it was just like, you can just see that, in their eyes, and just, it really, really, really brought it down. It really brought it home, for me. The musical score, John Williams really comes back and he adds some new touches, and really, he kind of makes it a bit more energetic and faster paced, when he actually calls for it. And I'm really loving it, some of his scores. I love Rey's theme, it's really great, and even the First Order's theme is really great, very, very, very reminiscent of the themes of the past, and I really did like it. I flipping loved it. Yeah, just a great flick overall, but despite this film being fun and fast-paced and got great writing and great dialogue, it does have its cons, and now it's not that I hate it or anything, this is more mixed to like negative. You could say it's a negative, and for me it feels very similar to A New Hope, where you have this young person who lives on a deserted planet, a droid comes, she meets an old legend of the past, learns about the Force, saves the day, and well, she doesn't really save the day, it is the first, that's the thing I like, it wasn't Rey saving the day, like Luke was the one who destroyed the Death Star in the first film. She doesn't do that, at least it's like, the thing I like about, okay, let's go back to the positive, is that the thing I like is that in the first film, Luke shot the Death Star one shot, but at least in this one, they established that it was like several of the resistant fighters doing like the destroying of the new Death Star, Star Killer base, which I really appreciate because it made more sense, because that thing is gigantic. There's no way one shot can just destroy it, it's just yeah, it's just no way, my dude, no flipping way. And yeah, but yeah, as I go back to my mix of negatives, it does feel very similar to A New Hope in a way. It does have that like feel, and also the thing that I don't like about it, it's more negative, is that there's certain questions that haven't been answered, like at least in the first film, in that first movie, there were things that we got to know and understand, but in this film, it's like, we'll save that for another day. Like a lot of questions, a lot of mysteries that haven't been answered, and if people must have been like anticipating the Last Jedi film, expecting to have those answers revealed, and you're gonna be disappointed. But for this film, for what it was, Star Wars The Force Awakens was a film that felt right back at home. It brought Star Wars right back to where it was, and it felt like Star Wars, it sounded like Star Wars, and it acted like Star Wars. And for that, Star Wars The Force Awakens definitely gets a 9 out of 10 and an A from me. Go check it out right now. I mean, it is one to watch. It's a feast for the eyes, and it's just great. It's a great film, great flick, very, very, I really enjoyed it. But thanks for watching this review. Please like and share this video and comment down below and tell me what's your favourite Star Wars flick. With that said, thank you for watching, and as always, Boy Reviews signing out.